misspelled and says California.
Hi guys, welcome to another playthrough.
State
We're
Assembly.
gonna talk
So
to
they can't
Wanda,
spell.
so we'll check her out.
And then his placard outside of his office, Kevin Kiley,
for Agatha's
Representative
ritual.
California.
Can't get any more right.
Wow, you guys got it going on out there in California. You're literally illiterate, apparently. And then here you go.
I'm prepared as I can be.
Congratulations to
And I'll have
Governor
some
Newsom
additional
on a historic three-peat.
Who?
California led the
Agatha
nation in
asked me to
one-way
recruit a
U-Haul
few of the
rentals for a
others.
third straight year.
How many people will be joining us?
Yeah, you guys are doing well in
All
your
the midnight
Democrat-run
sounds,
states that
Dr.
people are
Strange.
fleeing from.
And
Fleeing from the
Logan overheard
crime
me
and the
talking with
corruption
Rico and decided to
and
come
the
along.
degradation.
He believes
They
you?
can't get out soon enough. And now
He
it's going
said,
to get worse.
I've seen weirder stuff in
And
my
you
day.
all know why.
But he
Not
used
just the
another
ease
word,
on crime, but
stuff.
Joe Biden to grant mass amnesty and work permits to 30,000 new illegal immigrants in 1
It is hard to believe everyone
Stephen
just
Miller demands
agreed
House
to
GOP
this.
open its impeachment inquiry
Agatha
immediately.
had me tell them
Should
what
have
only
Stephen
she
Miller
could
as
know.
Speaker of the House. How about
Except
that for a
Strange.
nomination?
He came without question. He had
Plan
a
to
twinkle
house
in his
former
eye.
migrants at
though
former
he already
Chicago,
knew.
excuse me, plan to house migrants at former Chicago school delayed amid community
should go.
pushback. Mayor says city
I'll
is at
lead the way.
maximum capacity. Oh, you don't like all the illegal immigrants coming in?
Oh
Then
wow, we got the whole crew here.
And
Logan,
by the
what
way,
say
they're
you?
shutting down schools now to put illegal immigrants in them. And the community says, what gives? Well, what gives is that your government cares more about non-citizens than you.
I knew
But I'm
she
sure it'll go
wasn't
fine,
really
right? Or maybe not. 70%
How
of
so?
Berlin's New Year's Eve rioters are migrants.
Agatha always had a
That's
backup
nice.
plan.
Why is it always New
Used
Year's?
to say she could cheat
Why are they
death
always
at
running around
cards.
committing crimes and raping women on New Year's?
Never
Seriously,
thought
it's
I'd
a
be
story
right.
every year in Europe. Migrants, illegal immigrants, raping women, rioting, committing crimes
Hunter.
every year on New Year's. Very, very odd.
Anticipation for
Keeps
this
happening.
moment was
Pope
bound.
Benedict warned against Western.
I love you.
culture
Shut
about
up,
God's
Dr.
legend.
Strange. Your
Well,
costume
God
is
said
amazing.
We're still witnessing what he warned
I
about,
knew she
aren't we?
wasn't a hostile spirit.
Aren't we indeed?
Why did you not say anything?
You know, the
I could always
Democrats
trust
all
Agatha to
gathered
have
this
an
morning
elaborate plan.
in
I
D.C.
surmised
to have
she
a
wouldn't
prayer
have to win
because, you know,
necessary.
January 6th.
And so she has.
And it was a lesbian priest that gave the prayer.
Don't
And they
know
were
how this is
all
possible.
there on the
I'm not
steps
surprised.
perpetuating
Why not?
the big lies about January 6th. And then
You
Biden
and
does it again
Wanda
today.
working
And then
together.
even
What
every
can't
news
you
channel,
do?
including Fox News,
That's
covered
not
the
an expression.
Democrats
If I wake up
lying
tomorrow
about
and there's
January
a
6th,
second moon in the
whether it was
sky,
Biden or all
I
the
would
Democrats and
assume
their
it has something
lesbian
to do with
priests praying today. It's funny, they love prayer when they're doing it with their lesbian priests, but when you talk about Christian values and prayer, they hate it.
Hey, Hunter.
And just
Thanks
a
for doing,
reminder from
all
Mario
of this.
Presents Official. Folks, it
Do
wasn't
you
just
know what we are
Washington,
doing?
D.C. with a million Trump
No
supporters
idea.
out there acting peacefully.
So,
At
why are
every
you
state
here?
capital across the country on January
else?
6th, you had
To support
thousands
you and
of Trump
Wanda.
supporters peacefully
and Agatha.
rallying as well. So let's not forget about
thanks,
that.
Robbie.
Every state capitol building on January
Agatha's
6,
back,
2021
she'll see some
had
familiar
thousands
faces.
of Trump
Happy to be
supporters
one of them.
peacefully rallying just like they did in D.C. But of course, we got set up in D.C. The rest is history.
Biggest,
I
you
could
dark
not
witch.
tell
A
anyone
mother
about
cries for
Agatha.
help. Young son Charles Smith has been sentenced to 41 months for touching a sign that Ray Epps actually threw at Capitol Police. So Ray Epps says go in the building and then throws a sign at police. He doesn't go to jail or get investigated. But the young boy that touched the sign before Ray Epps threw it at police, he gets 41 months. That's justice is served, I suppose. Starved and drugged, then punished for begging for help. Wife of January 6th political prisoner Dominic Pizzola sounds alarm on Tuesday at Proud Boys trial jury pool and explains exactly how her husband is being starved
Thanks,
to death.
Magic.
Yeah, now the lawyers defending the Proud Boys have had their licenses suspended.
She's raised in limbo
But see, Trump is the guy
with the fucking demon in limbo.
Capitol attack investigation
That's
into
pretty
Trump
good,
and
Magic.
insurrection
That ain't
enters
bad,
new phase. Yeah, you guys have
considering.
been investigating Trump
Everyone's
for 8
here.
years. You found
Almost
nothing.
ready to begin.
Trump is now accused of wrongful death of Brian Sicknick, who died in U.S. Capitol attack, says CNN. Except Brian Sicknick didn't die in the U.S. Capitol attack, you sick liars. Ex-Capitol police
do they
boss
have to do with the
says
ritual?
politics hampered January 6th security under Pelosi. Recipe for disaster from justthenews.com. Finally, someone telling the truth. It was Pelosi and the
if
Democrats
something goes
and the
wrong,
D.C. mayor that stood down the National
They'll
Guard
contain whatever
and then
goes wrong.
led the insurrectionists into...
We have a player down on the course. We'll try to get more information.
Agatha.
and rushed to local Tallahassee
This is it.
Leading cardiologist says cluster of collapses in footballers likely to be just a coincidence, a terrible coincidence at that, but just a coincidence. Yes, just a coincidence.
I know it's what you want.
Players died.
17-year-old Everest Romney got his vaccine shot, and that is when doctors found out he had two blood clots inside his brain.
Doctors baffled after 16-year-old football player and wrestler suffers a stroke and blood clot in his brain. 17-year-old high school student dies suddenly after suffering critical medical emergency during flag football game. 16-year-old high school football player collapses and dies after suffering medical emergency during practice. Family and doctors are baffled by the sudden and unexplained death of a 16-year-old Stanford high school football player.
Buffalo Bills safety DeMar Hamlin in critical condition after collapsing on the field during the game. He was administered CPR before being taken away in an ambulance.
12-year-old Jason
Excellent. Sounds like me.
A South Carolina high school football
Blood to Brazier.
collapsing at football practice.
Isaiah Turner died yesterday following a, quote, sudden catastrophic medical event.
17-year-old Philip Lester Jr. collapsed while practicing football on Monday.
A 16-year-old student from West Baptist Preparatory High School collapsed while warming up for a scrimmage in Chester County.
Yo.
Latest to die suddenly. Prominent cardiologists tie alarming trend to COVID shots.
They need
The hardest part
distraction.
was I let him get shot.
Do you think she can do this?
I know she can.
COVID
And
vaccines
soon
are now available for
she'll know
children
as well.
5 years and older.
Is
The
it
more
the
people who
famous
get
thing
them,
about like
the
in the
better
public
we're
is
going to
not
be able to
normal,
help
maybe like
stop
I
the
don't know
spread
what.
of COVID.
78 years old. Even my dad 75 years old, he know how this thing works now.
Alive?
But I get just like,
I
you
was
know.
going to say,
Communication,
but
and
that
again,
works.
the communication, the ability to communicate, but the ability to get you the latest information on what just happened. Let's say a nuke, when
This
it
will
goes off,
work.
goes off there, we'll know it. Those of us who are able to communicate, but in essence, you're watching the destruction and the desire to control over all information.
Very funny, Magic. Talking about deception is pathetic.
The satellite phone and the Bivy stick are the only way that you can stay and be able to access different communication people that will have these. A lot of hands are getting the Bivy stick, a lot of hands are getting satellite phones. So it's always important people understand. Once you begin to lose it up here and you start to worry and fret, it's the mindset of knowing what's going on takes away from the uncertainty that initiates
What
fear.
are you gonna
do
So that's a powerful
Stand
statement.
back.
Absolutely. People should go to InfoWarsPhone.com. I think it's the big satellite store. And we get the sponsorship and the credit, so it's a win-win for all of us. Stay on air. Plus, you get ready. InfoWarsPhone.com, and you get the free satellite phone, the free Bivy stick, whatever you choose. But you simply pay for the monthly subscription. And again, calls to your sat phone are free. It's the calls you use, and you get the monthly deal on. You can also call 941-955-1020, 941-955-1020, 941-955-1020. Also talk to your operators to answer all your questions, 941-955-1020. This is one of the no-brainers. You need a gun, you affordable food, your relationship with God, your water filtration, your friends and family. That's all the best things, and you need a Bivy stick or a satellite phone right now. InfoWarsPhone.com. I mean, this is insurance everybody needs to have right now. Really to get it, they need to learn how to use it. It's very easy. I use it. I've got it in my house. I've got it in the office. This is critical.
I call upon the brave Seneschal. It's so funny, like people saying me not like beaming in the crew is not normal, but the guy actually
A frontal assault on
it's
the lives of the New World
like just
Order.
failing.
It's Alex Jones.
I can see Agatha.
No one thing that is not normal.
Sarah, wait.
That all focus.
She did not want you to find out about this.
Just because I'm big myself.
How would you
I'm a bad one, but the guy that has this thing and no one knows that completely stranger. It's kind of seems like you know what? I nearly called her outside.
I'm actually surprised, but it looks like the vote to adjourn is going to win. I thought that the McCarthyites would press forward as close as they are now to getting victory, but instead it looks like the adjourn is going to win here.
Back from her final rest.
And so we may not get a 14th vote today.
Sarah.
Quickly here.
She
Who blew
never
up the
left
Nord
the
Stream pipeline, and why does no one care? Well, the answer is the same to both of those
Brave
questions.
Seneschal. I won't let
America.
you do this to her.
Now, that might not be totally accurate, but
Something is wrong.
they probably
First of
gave
all,
the green
we
light
cannot
to
destroy
whoever
her
did
again.
it because they wanted to start a war with Russia. So,
It's
the Russian pipeline, and why does no one care?
Hotel?
Well, no one
What have you
cares
done
because it
to
was
her?
meant to be a false
It's
flag
worse than what
for
you've done
Russia
to
to start a war with Russia, but that didn't go so well, so all of a sudden who done it isn't relevant. You see, it was only relevant if they could blame Russia, but since they couldn't blame Russia, they didn't get away with that lie. Now all of a sudden, who
Reveal yourself.
the Persian pipeline is about starting a war with Russia, a la Gulf of Tonkin to start the war in Vietnam.
Agatha, we have no
Some good news before I go to the calls here, though.
I have quarreled
Texas abortions dropped to 0,
I don't even bother if someone
saving
is
up
not
to
related to my business.
5,700
If
babies a
someone's
month.
in the
Texas
restaurant,
abortions
you think
dropped to
it's
0,
okay.
saving
If someone goes to eat in the
5,700 babies
restaurant and
a
they're
month.
sleeping
Way to go,
you think it's wrong or not?
Texas, and all the
You
other
think it's long or not?
anti-abortion states that have saved now tens of thousands of babies' lives that the Democrats and the liberals wanted to snuff out in the womb. Good for us here in Texas and to the other states where abortion rates are now going down to 0. We are literally saving lives. That's some good news here today. All right, let's take some phone calls on the speaker race here, which I think is now going to adjourn.
People are too like talking so much.
Let's start with Tony in Illinois. Tony, you're on the
I
Alex
would ever
Jones Show. Go
trust
ahead.
you with anything?
You don't even know. Like, let's go. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Should allow people to be on
Unlike some of you, I honor all
Yes.
bargains I strike.
Okay, now, I want to make
How do you know that hotel
I ran for Congress
might
5
be
times
happening if you
in the past, so I
use
know
them for
all
free
about what's
advertising?
going on
useless to
in
me
these things, and I just want to let everybody know, the whole world know. It's
Wait,
about money, it's
I will
about power.
speak with
You know
Ileana.
that, I should know that. The Democrats saw that they lost the House, they're trying to regain them. You're the speakers. That's why they're all pushing for Jay. Capiche? Now, so,
There
we
is
have to
little
choose
to say.
between whether we want the Democrats to continue to
Ileana, I am
control,
just stalling
or at least have
Yeah, what is
a
it?
rhino
I mean, they don't
There is
even
little
know
to
about
say
what
because
the
I know how to push him out.
What
is the plan?
It's too much like.
If I banish him
That's a
directly,
half-assed Republican.
but if I
It's a
channel my
half-assed
power
Republican.
through
Yeah, because
someone
really
close to Agatha,
they're a donkey, they're an ass, they're a Democrat.
he loses control. I banish him, and Agatha stays behind.
English history.
Then why have you not done it all?
Okay, we know that
Channeling my power through a person causes lasting injury.
religion. Okay,
I'm not
Demons
trying
know
to
who should bear the suffering.
now there was a man in history,
In my
American
country, it's
history,
normal.
known as Thomas
I can only
Nast.
offer
Ask someone
myself.
He was the one who came up. He was a cartoonist.
This is
Also
quite
a journalist.
dangerous.
He came up with the
In my
concept of
city,
the
Pattaya, it means
Republicans
something
are
else.
To save Agatha, defy the devil, and keep you from his clutches.
many cartoons
course I was.
dipping his hand on trying to invade
You are a
America.
fool.
It's an invasion.
But you are the
You
best
know what
fool
the
I know.
communist, globalist,
Give me the
socialist,
signal when you're ready.
I don't even know what-
totalitarian, tyrannical, satanic.
Magic. What do we say to the devil?
Okay, it both his thing is definitely involved in this, or the witches and the power force of the kingdom of darkness.
All right, I tell you what, it's 2 minutes. You're a great caller. You got a lot of great facts, but I really wanted to just stick on the issue of the House vote today. And I said 2 minutes back, so I got to drop you. But thank you for the call. Let's go to Josh in New Jersey. Josh, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Schroyer, how are you today?
Thank you.
Hi, good, thanks.
Here are the thoughts from the Northeast on this mess. We have a bunch of children playing in a
Sarah,
play box,
you can hear me?
trying to grab the same symbols that everybody else is using.
What? No
And it's
kiss?
because we have no morals and no
That's how
values.
I know it's you.
This is not going to end
What
well.
you've done
We don't get
bring
from the
everyone
Speaker of the
together.
House. Because remember that
It's
Speaker of the
not
House is
enough.
third in line for
I've
the
never been more
presidency.
delighted
And
to
we
tell
see
you
these
how
Some people
wrong
even
you
like
are.
call something like,
This is so much
no,
better
I
than
want
we'd
to see you
expected.
doing a porn,
We just need
like
to
softball
finish
porn,
it.
hot tub
We?
We got to
content.
get
Does
somebody
that
in there,
mean
man.
you'll
I don't know
stay?
what to tell
Some people
people.
You
have
thought I
say
did
that you
all
want
this?
to you will
Say
Everything
find
that
goodbye?
I've
like
spoken
5
about,
or
that
10.
you guys have
Sarah.
spoken about,
Like,
has
You're
come true
hopeless.
100%.
Not
And
anymore.
people are still
It's
too
way
stupid
to
to
go
realize.
to like
Look at that.
I don't know if they're I don't know if
Hunter,
we're
would you
in this
mind
place
walking
anymore,
with me?
man. I really don't.
I
I
deserve
hope we
some
do, but
privacy.
if we don't get somebody in there like that gentleman from Florida,
What a guy do to get
Uh-oh.
free protection like that?
And you know, here's the one thing. Here's the one thing I would say if I was going to make a concession from the holdout side. I would say, all right, look.
Because
if we want to trust McCarthy,
do well together.
and we want to make sure we salvage this speakership from getting maybe a Democrat in there or something else that could go wrong, then okay, fine. But the one thing they cannot concede is that we need to have the one representative ouster rule that has been in place forever until Nancy Pelosi changed the rules last session. So that if McCarthy goes sideways, goes rogue, doesn't do what he said he would do, all it takes is one person to oust him. That's the one thing they cannot concede on.
You know what? I agree with you, man, but I don't know what these folks are going to do. I don't think it's the blind leading blind.
Just go back and go to sleep.
And it's quite frankly scary. Because if we lose any more power and any more respect in this country, we're screwed.
Completely agree. And you know, today has been a reminder of that. I've got hope from the Republican holdouts, but they're losing ground. And then with all the people dying from the vaccines that they don't want to tell you, and the cardiac arrest, and then just the corruption and the lies about January 6th. I mean, it's just a reminder of how bad things really are. But they have officially adjourned until later tonight. So we won't get an update. We won't get an update till later tonight. Josh, thank you for the call. Let's go to Robert in Chicago. Robert, you're on the Alex Jones Show. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Acquitted herself with aplomb, as did you,
previous callers, but I'd like to just go over a short list. Well, there's a long list, and I'm sure we could build on it, of why I'm going to vote for McCarthy. You know, that $30 million he took from the FTX crypto scandal, then he withheld the said funds from America First candidates.
That's right. And that's what they're trying. And by the way, and just so people are clear, that's one of the things that the holdouts are not willing to concede on. They don't want the GOP and the big money donors getting involved in primary races, so McCarthy can't do that again.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another one, him and his wife wined and dined with Klaus Schwab.
Wait, him and Frank Marsh had dinner with Klaus Schwab? I didn't know he and Frank Marsh were eating with Klaus Schwab.
This place already feels like
Him and his wife spoke at World Economic Forum. Look it up. It's out there. Another one, nationalpulse.com, not to compete with InfoWars, they have an article. Supposedly, Kevin McCarthy has a luxury rental firm, and the largest shareholder is Mao Zedong's
Especially considering the condition of your caller.
Is that a Natalie Winter story?
I can't thank you
Yeah,
enough.
I believe it is.
She does great work covering the Chinese communists. I like the National Pulse. I like Hassan.
But
Do you voluntarily catch
I don't know why you had
the new
and afterlife?
an afterlife.
Don't let me haunt you.
Failed to address the voter fraud in 2020-2022. Rasmussen yesterday Rasmussen had a poll, national poll, less than 40%, less than half is what the title is. Less than half of GOP voters would support McCarthy.
It's so funny.
I would say it's like, again, I can open up the phone lines. I could take calls for days and not find a Republican voter that likes Kevin McCarthy.
And obviously he's going to continue giving money to Ukraine. He never...
Well, of course he is. And that's another one. So thank you for the call, Robert. But see, that's another one. And that's why they cannot concede one-person ouster. If they concede everything else, fine. They cannot concede the one-person ouster. Because the minute McCarthy again, get him out. Now, the caller brought up this story.
Oh, my Lord.
From Natalie Winters about McCarthy's ties to China. But guys, it was in the New York Times. Can we put that back on the screen here before we go to break? New York Times. Kevin McCarthy's business ties complicate his rise to power. To land the House Speaker position, the California Republican will have to win over opponents who question his ties to Silicon Valley and his commitment to right-wing causes. So I don't know if that one gets into the China issue. We'll look more into that.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very exciting development has just taken place. I want to encourage you all to go to InfoWarsStore.com and check it out for yourself because it is a very strong, high-quality formula. Down and out sleep support, liquid, is very fast taken out of the tongue.
Hunter,
it's got a
if you're
very
awake,
good
come to
dose
Central.
of melatonin,
I need to show you something.
passion flower, valerian root extract, lemon balm, and German chamomile. All of these compounds are
Hunter, that was
documented on
irresponsible.
record to help give you deeper, cleaner, healthier sleep, and that is one of the biggest game changers out there with all the stress we have in this
What's up, Carol?
Time decrypting the data drive Crossbones gave to Cash. I hope it gave us good information on Hydra. It gave us good intelligence, all right, but it's not about Hydra.
available
It's about
at
us.
InfoWarsStore.com. So
Take a look. He had files on all of us. Cap, me, Star, Blade, Magic, Nico, everyone. Strengths, weaknesses, mostly weaknesses. We can use this information to fix our deficiencies. Whatever he viewed as a weakness, we can make into a strength. I like the way you think. Now I just need to convince Cap that distributing these files to the team is a good idea. This isn't even all of it. There's a whole other section, but I can't access it. More encryption. Multiple layers of it. I could probably get it, but it'll take me a while. Cap could make this go a lot quicker.
Where is he? I'm surprised he is not going over these files with you.
He was with me when we first unlocked the drive. He was already agitated from Crossbones' death, but I think seeing what he had on us really set him off. He excused himself in a hurry. Now I need him back.
Vaccinate your children before they kill us all. Brought to you by
I
the
will
World
find
Health
him and convince him to come back. You do not have to worry about that.
I have no doubt you can be most persuasive when you want to be,
I was
Hunter.
about 15.
Was there
From about 15 to 22,
anything about me on that
I
drive?
ran every other day 6 miles,
Strangely,
lifted weights 5 days a week. I
not a
was
word.
in incredible shape. I could do 50, 60 total
I'll keep trying to break this
non-stop.
code while you
Now I
find
can do
out.
like 3. And even back then, I took supplements, and they really helped take me to the next level. But I can tell you now, the supplements we have at InfoWarsStore.com, especially this new line, InfoWars Platinum, dwarfs anything I had 30, 35 years ago. Dwarf stuff
Any
for
new
5%.
leads?
In our search to find better stuff, better stuff, we ran into a major pharmaceutical
Here's the latest from
makers
Hydroworld.
of high-quality supplements in the world based here in the United States. It turns out
These
all
are
there is a list.
current priorities.
So they've allowed us to take 3 of their #1 best-selling products, not just for them, but in the total market, and private label them for 40% off what they are in stores, 20-25% off what they're sold online. So all 3 of these are already #1
This was beast.
not just for them, but in the market total. Now brought to you for 40% off to help keep InfoWars on the air and get you great products. So be careful with these. These are very serious. Consult your healthcare provider. I would take a lower dose at first. I would recommend it because it'll blow you away. 1776 testosterone boost. Unbelievable. ACH Max Boost. Take this before you go to bed, folks. This will make you totally reboot. You're going to need some downtime when you take this the first few times especially. And, of course, Pain MD. These
If we
are
had
already
some rookies,
bestsellers.
I'd say send them out for the experience. But I think we're past that.
Everybody watching, everybody listening,
I'm
should
very
get these
keen.
products
Hero is
immediately.
officially injured and out for a day or so.
And obviously, they're marketed towards men, but they do great things for women as well. Get your InfoWars Platinum right now, 40% off at InfoWarsStore.com.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
Do you remember this song I sang the other day?
Steve, Carol needs your help decrypting Crossbones' files.
And by the way, Chad,
Did she tell you I want nothing to do with it? This is the music that should be played every time Congress convenes.
It's no point of you to just think about
Those files he had on the
They
team
only
aren't
use
disturbed.
second of them.
They're clowns.
To take a moment.
You not spend 2 hours.
Big ups to the 6 remaining holdouts.
Something Crossbones.
Andy Biggs, Lauren Boebert, Eli Crane, Matt Gates, Bob
Let me
Starkey,
about my
let me
greatest
hit the
enemy.
kid
and
again.
Matt Rosendale.
The Red
The
Skull
So they
remaining
will not be
holdouts
here. They're like-
remaining,
I will have
stopping
a
the swamp
and
Do you
from
think the Red
railroading
Skull had
us,
something to do with
we the
those
people
files?
again.
I'm certain. One file is called Project.
Oh, it's been a crazy week, ladies
Classic
and
name
gentlemen,
for a Red Skull
to start
terror
the new year, has it not?
Rumlow wants.
Wow. If
Wanted
this is the
me to
pace
use the
for the
tools
year
of my oldest
2023,
enemy to defeat
I
the
think
newest.
my heart's going to give out,
I
guys.
won't give him the
I don't know.
satisfaction.
And it's only, just get ready, folks. More stuff.
Who you left on,
coming
man?
in the very near
It's the
future.
wrong way.
Things are only going to get
think I
crazier
should
from
see
here.
it.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Final segment before the War Room. Again, guest host today.
I have a
Boys
problem
like
like
Alex Stein
Captain
and Clay Clark
himself.
in the War Room. I thank them for filling in for me.
He gave
Let's
those
go to the
files
phone
to
lines
the
now.
only person he
Brian
could trust
in
to put
Michigan.
them to
Brian,
good
you're on
use.
the air. Go ahead.
That's an interesting theory, but I won't give Rumlow the benefit of the doubt.
ahead and take it. The
That is not
last
your call
caller,
tonight.
Elaine Chao
You
McCarthy,
have put me
they
in
did
charge.
wine and dine at
Now
the World
trust me to
Economic
do my
Forum,
job.
and that brings in Yuval Noah
Well, I
Harari,
guess you
where
have been paying
human
attention.
free will is gone. That's why this
The
whole
enemy of
thing,
my
the vote,
enemy is
I
my
don't think
friend.
it's relevant anymore because the human free will is
talk to
gone.
Carol
We
and
can
do
now
what I can.
track people under the
Thanks
skin
for helping me
with
work
the
through this.
graphene oxide.
I got the same problems like Captain, man. Very convoluted, very convoluted, my friend.
Abraham, 2,000 years. Abraham was a
Okay,
physical
gotta get
flesh
you
that
in.
signified that they were with God. Abraham was
Where's
Jesus,
Captain?
2,000 years. Jesus said the return
Okay.
of Jesus, my guess will be 2,000 years, but if you go back in time right now, 2,000
Daily
years.
sparring.
Jesus Christ is alive, he's on the planet, he's 24 years old. He begins
18.
ministering at the year of 2029 or
Eco.
2030. So he's 30 years old and he begins ministering for his 3.5 years. And all these guys, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, all of them are saying the rise of the New Age man comes in 2029 or 2030. That runs exactly in timeline with the first 3.5 years of the ministering of Jesus Christ on the planet. And all these guys, all the tech that's out there, everything that they're talking about, I mean, we have the 2029, is this, why are they saying this timeline? If they know exactly
Well,
what's
it's
going on.
certainly interesting, and just to add a little bit more to that, you know,
I'm
they
interested
changed
too.
the calendars and the days,
Severe?
and everything, the months so
Whoa.
many times. Who even knows that the calendars we have are the same that we had then? But Brian, I thank you for the call. Very important.
Any cards for you,
information
Spider-Man?
Very interesting
No.
to think about on the larger scale, away from just U.S. politics, but on the large world human scale. Let's now go to Josh in Georgia. Josh, you're on the air.
Sometimes you just need to spice things up. Try something different.
Okay, we'll leave all that for now.
Shout out to the Brain Force. And on this McCarthy vote, man, I just want to say I hate to have everybody following his black bill, but you know deep down inside that he's going to get
Forge.
it. And thank God there's 6 people that are going to stand up and actually fight for something that the American people deserve. And it's disgusting what these people are doing to our country. It's disgusting. We're the laughing stock of the entire world. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of these politicians. And 2023 is going to be the year that you see these people that took the COVID vaccine start dropping like flies. And this is all disgusting. And I'm pissed, dude. And these politicians need to grow some cojones and stand up and actually do something for the people that voted them in the office instead of sitting there and voting.
Oh, the customization in the room, okay.
Thank God they're willing to go into
Visionary Blade.
We have the same freaking vote 100 times so McCarthy can finally get it in.
Oh, well, that's good to have. The art.
Nice, luxurious dinners while we sit here and struggle to pay for gas and we struggle to pay our bills and buy
Okay.
going up everywhere and they're going to be tracking and
Magic.
and there's nothing that the American people can do to stop it because he's our representative right here. Have a good one, Owen. I love you. I'm going to hang up.
I have no response. That's a home run. You just cleared the bases, man. Not much to say in response to that, other than you just knocked it out of the park. And thank you for shopping at InfoWarsStore.com. Let's go to Isaac in California. Isaac, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Sometimes I impress myself.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, Thailand Hangout is so unprofessional.
I'm sorry, we're having a phone line problem here. What was that?
They never inform. People know by themselves. They fix the problem. They never inform.
I don't know what you're saying. What?
People lost, isn't it?
Is Alex Jones a Zionist Jesuit?
Is Alex Jones a Zionist Jesuit?
Yes.
Okay, well, I asked for cold about the speaker vote, and I'm not Alex
Do you
Jones,
think like
so I don't
why
really know what you want from me.
People just want to get your money. From what you've been working.
All right, I'm not doing this.
They don't
Bye.
tell you
All right,
what
let's go to
they
Ignacio
want.
in Colorado. You're on the air. Go ahead.
One tag.
What's
Not
up,
their
Owen?
money.
Thank you.
I do want to talk to Owen, the activist today, though. Not
Why do you
Owen,
think
the,
Carly stole?
You know, the host
See you, Hunter.
for InfoWars.
All right, what do you
Man,
got?
I understand that MTG has been on the war room
Lily,
this time, leading up to the vote. And as I understand that her position on Kevin McCarthy
If
was
there
that
is a next time.
if he didn't win, the Democrats might have won it, and then it was holding him.
Hairstyle.
It's been proven wrong
Watch the
14
damn Rose,
times.
Penny.
So on that note, I do want
Even in the jail, you
they
get money.
adjourned the vote and
We
whatnot.
want a guy saying
Please
you
reach
have
out to
money
her.
in
She
the
didn't come on the
jail.
show yesterday.
Is that true?
Reach out
Did
to
they
her.
put
Get
guy
her
and
hard
woman
for
together in
whatever
the
you
jail?
can do, but like, let's hear from
Like,
her.
somebody jail is
Why is she doing this? We
Nation.
know the other dude is from the World Economic Forum.
How could that happen? What about
You know,
the
let's
guy
ask
being
MTG, what does
outside?
she think about
I think
Ashley
the
Babbitt's
first time I
mom
played this,
getting
I forgot
arrested
to sit
today?
here.
And what does McCarthy think about that? Let's put him on the spot. And let's hear from them directly what is.
Well, you know, and just generally speaking, Ignacio, the one thing here that I resonate with is that throughout this entire process, we're not really hearing much of substance. You know, where does McCarthy stand on the January 6th? Where does McCarthy stand on Ukraine? We don't get much substance. In fact, McCarthy doesn't talk at all. Nothing has changed. McCarthy never
Maybe it's
talks
the
about
shock
it. That's
of
why
rare
I don't know he's a conservative. He doesn't tell me he's a conservative. That's what he does. He's a fundraiser is what he is. He's a fundraiser for the swamp. That's what we keep hearing from people like Dan Crenshaw. I don't want a fundraiser for the swamp. I want an American patriot.
They're not supposed to use so much money on prison. They're not supposed to make people
want
wonderful prison.
up the stakes that are set in Trump. Too bad that we lost a few. I know
I
we
still
lost
say we
Ana
should have
Bolívar
built
Luna
the
and Paul Gustar in the last vote. That's
Right.
okay. Hey, they can still come back to MAGA.
And we've still got a vote tonight. McCarthy still doesn't have the votes, but I think this one tonight's going to be, if he doesn't get the votes tonight and we continue to go through the same Groundhog Day situation, then it's just ridiculous. And McCarthy should be embarrassed, and all the people that keep voting for him should be embarrassed. He never had the votes, but you just sent the American people the same message you've been sending to us since I've been living in this great country, that you, our politicians, don't give a damn what we the people think, what we the people say, or what we the people want. And you're going to sit there and do the same thing over and over and over again until you get the result you want. That's like if you go to the casino with $1 or a penny, let's say, and you go play the penny slot, and you put the penny in and pull it, and you don't lose, and then you go tell the casino owner, no, I want to play the casino penny slots until I win, even if I only have one penny. That's what this feels like. Maybe not the best example, but I just don't get it. Why do you do this? What is so great about Kevin McCarthy? I'm still unconvinced. All right, let's squeeze one more caller in. Andrew in New York. Andrew, go ahead.
InfoWars. Yeah, the caller has done a pretty good job talking about McCarthy's corrupted, FTX and all that stuff, but we already know where McCarthy stands and everything. We already know that he backstabbed January 6th and all that. It definitely should not be
Willie, I was...
McCarthy. It should be Biggs or somebody like that.
The prison
And I
might be
think
good.
that
No.
under controlling a lot of stuff
You
happening.
can't chat. Do you know how
I
much
think they
jail?
should have a real speaker
That
like
he was spent in the
Andy
jail
Biggs or
every
Steve Bannon or somebody like that.
like
You know, I
every
wish
year.
that was the case, but I'm not seeing that. And I will say the one knock
You're
I
not
do
supposed to
have
get
against the
so-
holdouts
like,
is
spend
that
so
they
much
never
money
really
for
brought
bad
a legitimate, serious candidate to the table.
back in the
Donalds didn't want it. He flipped. Jordan
Yeah.
said he didn't want it. He flipped. Or I don't know if he flipped, but he just said he didn't want it.
Going
So
in jail for like being innocent. Or
yeah, I mean that's the one blind spot on them was they never brought somebody who actually wanted it that they could present as a viable candidate, and I think they need to change that ahead of this 14th imperative vote. Because to me, this is the big backbreaking vote as we conclude the week. And if they move forward and keep trying to shove McCarthy down our throat, then we know
Cover
that
some
this is the
lines,
swamp trying to dictate its will on the American people. And if the holdouts can't bring forward a candidate that they can all get behind who wants a speakership position, who can't lead from the front, going on TV, saying why they want to be speaker, then we really, I don't see, eventually they're just going to get McCarthy in there. Remember to shop at InfoWarsStore.com, the War Room, with guest hosts Alex Stein, Royce White, and Clay Clark.
Grab those artifacts before they roll out.
Right.
I can
It's
handle
the
it.
amount of people like being in jail and they go out and even not even speak.
With an important message to humanity.
How does thing happen? Like, and they just want to go back.
Special injection so that you will be safe. But the injection is not ready yet. And so, I need I also need you to
I am impressed.
They don't think them don't want to go out. Like, the attendants, they volunteers, they get there for them. They even wanted to be.
control and bankrupt the world economy, leaving companies that only I own profitable. You will then be my slaves. Oh, and then you'll get that special shot of venom from Cobra. Will remove your immune system, so you'll be dependent on me for the rest of your miserable lives.
I have an extremely important message to all of my fellow missile warriors here in the United States and around the world. We are so excited to announce InfoWars MD. It turns out the top company in the U.S. for supplements is owned by a patron. And it turns out they're willing to give us deals that no one else is getting because they want to support InfoWars to keep us on the air. This deal has been a year in the making, and finally the products are being brought to market. Up to 50% off what you get on top national brands that are the highest rated under the InfoWars label, InfoWars MD, exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com. Check out the first of 10 new products at InfoWarsStore.com. Whether it's turmeric, or whether it's joint care, or whether it is super greens, we have them all at InfoWarsStore.com under the banner of InfoWars MD. This is the best deal out there, and it keeps InfoWars on the air. InfoWars MD.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
This usually works.
The most banned network in the world. Judgment comes.
Now that was something.
How many percent do you think is possible?
Well, that's what the globalists and the Democrats and the deep state and the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and so many more would like to see. And that's InfoWars flatlining, InfoWars malfunctions terminating.
We can wait.
Here, myself, the great crew, and you, all in. Now, Owen Schroyer here one more day for Alex Jones. He will be back today, most likely after the show, but we may be hearing from Alex before the end of the show as major developments in the Sandy Hook case in Connecticut, where the judge is just attorney for 6 months, allegedly for conduct she did during the trial. Now, this is more interesting than just dealing with Sandy Hook or Alex Jones' attorney, Norm Pattis, because Norm also represents me. I was due in court later this month, so that's going to throw a wrench into my legal defense with my 2 ongoing cases, arrested for supporting Trump.
I'm telling you. That's why when I
Total
don't like you to do
Democrat
something, are you yelling?
persecution, in my view.
Like, seriously.
So it looks like that's going to affect me as well. Not to mention
You have to control
the numerous other January 6 defendants that Norm Pattis is currently in the middle of trial,
You know some people
defending
control their chat.
with jury selection ongoing,
But my chat is
likes
not
of
that
Joe
bad.
Biggs and others. Now, did that play
Some
into
people
this
said,
decision?
like,
I guess
harassing all those people.
you're just going to have to make up your own mind on that. There you go. Alex Jones, attorney, Norm Pattis, suspended.
Like, a lot of some people
Law
that
license
like,
for 6 months. He is appealing it. He is in trial and court cases right now. He's a very busy attorney, defending more than just Alex Jones.
A lesson while you're
Really, I mean, I don't want to put words in Norm's mouth. I mean, I would consider Norm a classical liberal in the sense that he supports free speech, in the sense that he doesn't like big government corruption running people's lives, ruining people's lives. But that's just a quick take on that from me. We may be hearing from Alex on that before the end of the day. I don't know about hearing from Norm, considering he's going to be pretty busy today, not just with his ongoing trials, but dealing with this suspension that came down today. So that's big news. We'll be continuing to cover it at Infowars.com. And I can't belabor that story because I've got so much other important news developing today. Obviously, 0 for 11 McCarthy now. All signs point to 0 for 12 incoming whenever they decide to run that gambit again. And it looks like it'll be starting here just momentarily, but I'll just tell you, it's going to be 0 for 12. So this is going to be hilarious to watch. But there's other news developing there. And like I said, it's amazing to just sit here and watch this play out, and it couldn't be more obvious. And I suppose to the same voices that were anti-Trump in 2015 and 2016, using virtually the same rhetoric. Basically, oh, if you support Trump and you don't support Bush or whatever they were wanting at the time, the country's over, it's a doomsday scenario, worst thing ever, Trump will destroy the country. The exact same threats that the exact same people were telling us about Trump are now the exact same people and the exact same threats telling us if we don't get McCarthy, it's a doomsday scenario. Then there's the issue of this whole January 6th anniversary nonsense that we'll be getting into as well. They are going to milk this cow forever. I mean, they tell you January 6th is worse than September 11th, so of course they're going to be doing their ceremonies and their grandstanding. And folks, we've got other big news today. It is a loaded transmission. Absolutely loaded.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very exciting development has just taken place. I want to encourage you all to go to InfoWarsStore.com and check it out for yourself because it is a very strong, high-quality formula. Down and out sleep support, liquid. It's very fast-acting, taken out of the tongue. It's got a very good dose of melatonin, passion flower, valerian root extract, lemon balm, and German chamomile. All of these compounds are documented on record to help give you deeper, cleaner, healthier sleep. And that is one of the biggest game changers out there with all the stress we have in this world. And we've got some other great sleep aids as well, and they're excellent. They're all different formulas. But this one is particularly the strongest one we have. You're suffering the sleep support at InfoWars Store.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Owen Schroyer. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
With all the major news breaking today, filling in for Alex Jones. I feel blessed. I feel excited. I'm honored to be here with you today on this Friday, January 6, 2023. And I ask God for the vision and the strength and the patience and the clarity to be super effective in this important transmission today. And there's about 4 or 5 stories that are just of the utmost importance that any other day would be the top story. You'd spend all 3 hours on it in a 3-hour transmission. It's going to be a 4-hour transmission today. I'll be doing all 4 hours. And you'd spend all 4 hours on that, maybe take calls, get special guests. But there's like 4 or 5 stories, maybe 6, quite frankly, to reach that level of importance that I'm really going to have to be doing my best work today. So I just ask God to give me the vision and the strength and the clarity to be ultimately effective transmitting live here on the Alex Jones Show. I'm sure filling in Alex back. Hearing from you live on the show. Where do I begin? Let's just briefly lay out the big story. I mentioned the big story with Alex Jones' attorney, my attorney, January 6th defendants who are in trial. Their attorney, he's just been suspended by the Connecticut judge from the San Diego. Now, think what you want about that. That just went down this morning. Legitimate, illegitimate, persecution, politically driven. I'll leave that up to you. Maybe we'll hear from Alex or Norm sometime. But Norm obviously busy, and Alex as well, trying to get back into the office and back to work. But I can't even belabor that big story today because here we go again. Kevin McCarthy is about to lose. Seventh wasn't embarrassing enough for him. He's going to go for 12 today. And according to his own words, he could be over 100 by the end of the month. He'll be over 100. I mean, if they do 4 votes a day for the rest of the month, and McCarthy loses every week, he's going to be
Well, that's interesting.
But okay, we'll have that. And here's what I'm going to do. And really, I should maybe try to do this in the first segment if I can. If I can't, we'll come back and do it immediately in the next segment. There are 4 big issues right now. There are 4 big issues right now. There are Pelosi's rules that Kevin McCarthy wants to keep intact, that the 20 Republican holdouts want to get rid of. Now, I'll tell you those 4 rules and why it's so important, which to me just proves that Kevin McCarthy is doing the bidding of the deep state. He would have conceded if he was really working for a non-swap favoring for the 118th Congress. We're going to get into the importance of that as the 12th begins. January 6th ceremony, remembrance of September 11th that needs to be addressed. I'll admit, consistent here telling us what the Democrats did this morning versus what the Republicans are about to do, keeping Kevin McCarthy position in the gap. Democrat unification, they see this is what Republicans never do. They're also going to be supporting the fact that Republicans are unified. So I'll admit there's maybe even a double standard coming from me today, but is it really double standard if I see it and admit it and then explain why I feel like we will? What the Democrats did on the Capitol today is just every single one of those Democrats that took part in that ceremony know they were lying. Know that they lied to the American people about January 6th and Brian Sicknick and all the other stuff. And it's, quite frankly, it's beyond insulting. I'm not the family of Ashley Babbitt. I'm not the family of Roseanne Boylan. I'm not actually family with the people that died on January 6th. But it's funny that the Democrats get up there talking about people that died on January 6th and the violence. All the people that died on January 6th were Trump supporters. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. I mean, think about it's numbing, it's mind-numbing that for years Democrats will have massive displays, massive ceremonies telling you how bad cops are, specifically after a policeman kills an unarmed person like George Floyd. Saying that was the case, I believe it was the drug overdose that led to George Floyd's cardiac arrest, as the autopsy said, but the mainstream media lies and continues to lie about it. Fine. But see, the point is that Democrats will have these massive, grandiose displays saying how bad it is. Justify it because of the police behavior.
It must be weird having no discernible
with their January 6th ceremonies, where it was police officers that killed 5 unarmed people or 4 unarmed people that day, and then they get up there and they have a ceremony celebrating it. But it's worse than that. I'll explain coming up. Now you've got the issue where, and look, I took a lot of flack for this. I had callers calling in and disagreeing with me, and that's perfectly fine. I am perfectly okay with it. I said I believe that it was the hit that caused the cardiac on the football field on Monday night.
Forgot about the bleed.
Been made worse with the vaccine. But after the doctors that were working on it made their statements, follow-up reports from other doctors who are working on it, interviews pretending like they know, and they're all saying the same thing. nothing to do with the vaccine. Nothing to do with the vaccine. Don't talk about the vaccine. Well, wait a second. If you come out and you're honest, and the truth of the matter is that Damar Hamlin did not get a COVID-19 vaccine, then fine. Go on air and say the COVID-19 vaccine had nothing to do with this because he didn't get it. But they're not saying that, are they? All they're saying is that it has nothing to do with
I can only imagine
at this point, because you see, here's the difference. I didn't come on air and say that this was because of the COVID-19 vaccine because I don't know if he's been vaccinated. I can sit here and I can point to thousands of other cardiac events. We did whole gigantic news reports and compilations of hundreds of other athletes that we know got the vaccine and that we know had a cardiac problem, and others where we know of kids that died after getting the vaccine where they admitted the vaccine killed them. So I've got all the cases that show the COVID-19 vaccine has killed tens of thousands of people. That's according to the own government records. There is no debate here. Just I wouldn't say that the COVID-19 caused the cardiac arrest because I don't know his vaccination status. So tell me why a medical doctor on TV and tell you and say in utmost authority that this has nothing to do with the COVID-19 vaccine, even though they do not tell you. You said you knew the COVID-19 vaccine, therefore this couldn't have been caused by the vaccine, then fine, fair enough. But they don't do that. They just say, don't ask about the vaccine. Ask about the vaccine status. And this had nothing to do with the vaccine. Stop talking about it. Well, I'll tell you what. The minute that you can show us the proof that he never took the vaccine, then people will stop talking about this future football. But they just don't tell, nothing to do with the vaccine. Really? Did he get the vaccine? That doesn't matter. For you to say it had nothing to do with it.
Lilith herself could not investigate. What makes you think you were there?
Conspiracy investigators have tracked down the deadly secret and the elite group that tries to rule the world.
I'm back, ready for
When the
more.
population gets cut it down.
There's an entire agenda
afoot.
The light is on our side.
Medical treatments, namely
Welcome
vaccines.
assistance.
We're seeing a medical tyranny being set up, not just in the United States, but worldwide under the UN and the World Health Organization. They want a planetary dictatorship so they can carry out their forced depopulation agenda, and they want to do it through the medical system. And that's why vaccines are so important. We know that many of the reactions that this is being done to kill you slowly over time. That's why they're called soft kill.
Genetic COVID-19 genetic injection and provide zero benefit relative to risk. 50% of the deaths occur in 48 hours and 50% of
Guys are annoying.
I think you should really talk to Dr. Rima Leba.
Very soon, we'll be facing compulsory vaccination under the mistaken term of voluntary vaccination.
Now, what is it about these vaccinations?
First of all, let's start with the fact that the organization has decided that we have 90% too many people.
Oh, man, look how many
Has been
there are.
working since 1973. Vaccines to create permanent sterility. To make matters worse, vaccines that were illegally approved by the FDA contain a substance called squalene.
Squalene, an organic compound used in vaccines to stimulate the immune system and increase the response.
If you inject you with squalene, your immune system will attack the squalene, but then it starts attacking all the systems in the body. What does that look like when you meet a person to whom that is happening? It looks like Gulf War syndrome. It looks like every joint in the body swollen and intolerable intolerably painful and immobilized.
This is in the shots that we give.
Using the nasal mist vaccine, which is a live attenuated virus. That means that if I take it, I can infect you. You're going to get the flu. Everybody around us is going to get the flu.
Early CDC coronavirus tests were probably contaminated.
Why didn't they work initially? The Post reports cross-contamination most likely occurred because chemical mixtures were assembled into the kits within a lab space that was also handling synthetic coronavirus material.
A production firm in Luxembourg said all parts of the test have been contaminated. This was reported by the Telegraph.
Their statements that they've already we have a pandemic.
People lining up.
A genocidal holocaust. Men and women will sicken and die, and those who survive will be infernal.
People start dying massively from these inoculations. Won't there be like a revolution, a rebellion from peasants?
Leading a frontal assault on the law of the world order. It's Alex Jones.
All right, so based off the activity I've seen so far today, I expect Kevin McCarthy will lose the 12th straight vote. And you know what's interesting about this process now, as is not just the futility that we continue to see exercised. We understand that now. What's interesting is we started to yesterday get a better idea of what issues were as far as why the holdouts will not vote for McCarthy. And so we're going to get into that here in a second. But what's odd is that's not getting the focus of all of these speeches on the floor and of all of these speeches trying to say why nobody's really getting into the issues of the matter, which is odd to me. And even when they go on TV, many are not really discussing the issues either. I don't understand that.
Even for Hyde.
That has been the case. And while the Republican holdouts have still, with another night, all been on message, all been on point, all been unwavering, all been effective, one thing I think that's lacking here is a proper explanation of why they're holding out. And when you get an explanation into that, I think it'll make more sense. And so I was looking into that yesterday, and I have a better idea now of what is the situation. Let's start with two of them that are extremely important. And these are Pelosi rules, by the way, that Pelosi made. And one is a single step up and basically has the power to remove the Speaker of the House. And Pelosi changed that. That rule had been changed that, so it had to be
You are lucky to
I don't
still
remember the exact number. Pelosi basically made it a lot harder to get an ouster of the Speaker. getting involved in primary funding. Why? Well, isn't the why obvious? And when you realize how obvious the why is, then you realize how obvious the why. Then to stop. Why would the Republican Party want to be involved in the campaign financing of the primaries so desperately? Well, isn't it obvious? Didn't we just see why in the midterms? Because they get involved in the primary process, they can make sure that people, they hope, like people like Joe Kent and others, can't even get past the We'll get to handpick from the very beginning who they want in office with their funding. So does that make sense? So if you have two candidates coming up, let's say in Washington, like Joe Kent, it's a damn shame we don't have Congressman Joe Kent. But the Republicans did stand back. Here's the primary process. Who's going to do our bidding? Who's going to cave to our will? Who can we control? And when they have that answer, they'll just select the person and any race they want. And then they have the power of the purse of their hundreds of millions of dollars, which they all brag about Kevin McCarthy raising. Every time they go on television and tell you he can only say one thing, and that's how much money he raised. What does that do for you? McCarthy raising a bunch of money, does that help you at all? You really care about that? The Republican Party wants. They want to be able to control the primary process. You may notice this. The nice way of going after politicians you don't like, and it's probably the more professional way. Name calling it. But you know, you get with a guy like this, it helps. The polite professional way is to say, okay, we're going to primary you. Right? Instead of just coming out yourself, and you've really shown the people that you don't care about the country and you care more about the DC establishment and elites. We're going to primary you.
Wow.
Well, that's a threat.
Well, that for a lot.
Because in the primary
Oh, shit.
There's more of a level playing field. But if the Republicans are involved in the financing of it, well, then all of a sudden one guy can get $10 million in the primary process, and then the other guy or gal is forced to do fundraising on their own, which is obviously a lot harder when running a campaign to get the millions of dollars in fundraising. So in the primary process, if you know you've got millions of dollars from the Republicans, you can focus on your campaign. They'll pay for all your ads.
Well,
they'll pay for all your events, and you don't even have to worry about
that. I had at
fundraising.
one point with the multipliers. Hey, the guys that kept making themselves are crazy, man.
So you see why that's so
Pretty
important?
crazy.
Why won't McCarthy concede on that? Because he loves the power of the purse. He gets all the DC elite money, and he wants the ability to dole it out as he sees fit. And if that harms people like Joe Kent, then they don't care, because they don't like Joe Kent. They don't want him in there. He would be probably another holdout against McCarthy. So you see how that works?
What insight?
They also want to vote on term limits.
Shave it for sure.
This is a more minor issue to me, quite frankly. I think it goes both ways. I can see why term limits are a good thing. You look at someone like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, there's your argument for term limits. But it goes both ways. Look at Rand Paul.
Oh my god.
You want Rand Paul to not be able to keep running and getting into office? Not to mention,
How many minutes
if you have term limits, who ends up really running things in Congress? Well, a lot of these staffers. The staffers can be there for decades and decades, and some of these new people get in, and if you don't have anybody there that's long in the tooth, you're kind of looking around for help, maybe not knowing what to do, and then the staffers end up running everything. So I think that one's a give and take. They also want a stricter border. They want a fair tax act. And then the other
Okay, guys, so I'll see you next episode.